Hey, good morning, folks. AJ the CEO, and I had my camera set up, and I had it on the wrong shot. Let's do it again. Hey, good morning, folks. AJ the CEO here. I'm too busy prepping for everything else, and I had the wrong camera selected. So anyway, hey, I hope y'all are all doing well, and I'm hearing an echo. I don't know where that's coming from. Hold on one second. All right, so we're good. Hey, folks, AJ the CEO here. I hope you're all doing well. If you celebrated it, I hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving. Hope you're not too stuffed. Thank you for joining me on this Friday. What we do, best as we possibly can, we try and come here every Friday to answer your questions. I don't know everything about media ministry, folks, but hopefully the little bit I do know will make your journey a little bit easier, or I can point you in a direction to get your answer, or turn you over to this great community that we're building together to work together collaboratively to help each other answer their questions and move media ministry forward in whatever capacity that is at your ministry, at your church, at your building, on the street corner, online, wherever you do ministry. That's what we're all about, folks. So thank you for stopping by. Let's go ahead and holler at some folks who are joining me here on this Friday. Doyle Ministries, hello, hello. Terry, good morning, sir. RK, how are you doing, sir? I know. I remember, but sometimes I don't say it unless it's okay for me to say it. Darius, hello. Ms. Anderson, how are you doing from San Fran? Anthony, what is going on, sir? Them pictures of that food, man. Come on now. I know everybody enjoyed your cooking, sir. Lamar from Cali, how are you doing? Mike from Canada, how are you doing? Kind of like today, which I kind of thought it was going to be. That's why I started it a little bit early. But, we'll go on as long as we have questions, and I can do stuff to hopefully entertain y'all and answer y'all's questions and all that other fun stuff. We got a lot of stuff popping up, folks. I'm just gonna, let's jump over here. Just announce all the stuff that we got going on. No, folks, if you have any questions and I don't get to your question, no, you can email me at questions@ajhomes.com. Give me 48 to 72 hours to respond to you, and I will do my best to get your stuff answered. If we go back and forth more than 3 emails, I would highly recommend that you go ahead and set up a consultation with me. Go to ajhomes.com/consultations. You can do Zoom, Google, phone call, on site, all that other good stuff. Now, one thing I will say, I hate to do stuff like this, but just know at going into next year, we're going to have to bump up some of our on-site visits and stuff like that just because the economy, if you understand that. So I try not to hurt people that much with the pricing of it, but hey, bills have to be paid. So be on the mindful of that. If you want to book anything, you could always book it now at the prices now and just put it out there as far as you need to. And that way you can save in on that. If you're not a part of the Facebook group, folks, what are you doing? Go ahead and join the Facebook group. It's like this all the time with over 3,300 media ministries from all over the world where we're working together just like this. And we share. I don't have access to every piece of equipment, but there's somebody out there that uses the same stuff that you're doing. And we're just a community of meant to help each other. It's not about live streaming inside the group or nothing. It's meant to network, build relationships, connections with other ministries, and get your problems and questions answered, or share your knowledge with other people. That's what it's about. Just go to facebook.com, look up Modern Media Ministry Made Easy. 4ME, that's where that came from. Modern Media Ministry Made Easy. Answer the 3 questions, and that is it. What else am I forgetting? There's something coming up next year, and that is the 3rd annual 4ME E-Missionary Conference, July 18th through the 19th. It is going to be online, and it is going to be in person. We are going to be at Antioch Baptist Church. Thankful that Pastor Paul has allowed me to use the facilities on that day, those 2 days. We do have to make a little change on Saturday. They have something that's already in place, so we just gotta make some changes. We're gonna be working on the logistics, but the website is completely live, all the way live, folks. That is 4meconference.com. All the information is there. Details about all the stuff. I count down. We got a bunch of teachers that are signed up. We're adding more stuff as time goes on. We're putting their pictures and stuff like that on there. Details about the information. This is not just a technology conference talking about the technical stuff, folks. This conference is meant to talk about how ministers can effectively use media ministry. Some of them are not technical at all, but they're talking about how they interact with their congregation, how they leverage media ministry to reach them in a different platform than just sermons. It talks about that, how to be an effective leader. We also are talking about the technical stuff, video editing, live streaming, the anatomy of a live stream, how to, I'm probably stealing some people's sessions. We got other companies that are doing testimonies about their stuff. I want to give a big shout out to PhoneLiveStreaming. They have become our first sponsor for this conference, which I'm excited about. I need to add some more information about them once I get their slide deck and everything like that. Depending on the turnout, they said they may be in person, or they'll probably do a live stream or a recording. Either one, I'm just thankful for them to be able to reach out and want to be a part of it. We got some of our teachers signed up right now. Monty, Dominic, Francisco, Roslyn, Elder Rob. A lot of their details are coming on. I have about 4 more teachers waiting for their pictures and their classes. We're aiming to have 20 to 30 instructors for these 2 days. You can be online or in person. We got the technology to make that done. If you're interested in being a teacher in person or online, go to this link, and depending on which link you go to, if you go to the teacher one, you'll fill this form out, put your session information, and then immediately after that, it will take you to buy the tickets, because all of that stuff is in place. If you are a teacher, you get a discount from that. And if you register now, got our session schedules and all this other stuff coming up. We have our pricing right now, that the pricing for this ends February 1st next year. So 25% off on everything here. If you are a ministry and you're bringing 4 or more people, you get a 25% discount. From 4 to 10 people. You can go through here. Highly recommend that you register as soon as you can, because this is helping us get numbers to our caterers. We'll have breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the people who are going to be on site. It is a family affair, so anybody 16 and under is free to come. We just need to have them registered. I'm going to put a form up for their age and stuff like that so we can have activities for them. That is going to be a Friday and a Saturday. And these are just 3 of the hotels that are literally about 4 miles away from the church, as well as 1 mile away from Richmond Airport if you wanted to fly in. There's a bunch of hotels in that area, really not that far away from the church. There's the church's address, Antioch. If I zoom out here, and let's come here, that's 895, that's Laburnum right here. There's the airport. We are not that far away, and all those hotels are literally right here. So not very far away. Really want to see you in the place, folks. Trying to do some new stuff here to help educate everybody. What else? Big shout out to our Patreon and YouTube members. Trying to get all this stuff out the way. If you like what we do here, folks, and you want to help contribute, I don't have sponsors on this channel. It's my company and great supporters, Patreon supporters, and YouTube members. But if you like what we do, you can always buy some gear from emissionarygear.com that helps go towards this. Also, let me shout out your team, folks. We do a lot of great stuff in media ministries, but sometimes we don't get the recognition that I personally think that we should get. And let me use this platform to shout out y'all's media team. Just go ahead and email me at questions@ajhomes.com. Make the subject my media team. Send me a picture of your media team. Tell me where you're from and your ministry, and let me shout y'all out. And I think I've already mentioned it. Yeah, we really want some of y'all teachers. If you've never taught before, hey, we're here to help. You got some knowledge. You're a genius to somebody. And we want to be able to share this information and make a wide array of sessions that people can pick and choose to watch. And if you miss it, when you register, you're going to have access to watch all the videos after the fact. So if you don't get a chance to watch it live, you can always go back. Those are the people in person and online. Y'all both are creating an account that you can always log in after the fact and watch the stuff afterwards. So we're trying to put all this stuff together. It's a lot bigger than what we've done before. But again, really appreciate all those people that are jumped on board early. And I'm going to be putting up a volunteer list because we're going to need a lot of people to help out with this stuff. So I think that is about it. So folks, go ahead and fire away. If you got a question, go ahead and put a Q in front of it so it makes it easy for me to see your question. And we're going to fire away with Doyle Ministries. First question here. What app do you use to remote into systems? Is there a fee? I use Chrome Remote Desktop by Google, and it is completely free. As long as you have a Google account, you just got to log into a Google account on every computer that you want to use. And I make a secondary account so nobody has access to my account. So I have a second account on Windows PCs. It also works on Mac. You just log into your Google account, it sets the stuff up, and then you can remote in. So, for example, if I go over here to my stuff right now, if I press the right macro, these are all the computers I have access to that I've remoted into, that my account is there. So if I go over here to Antioch one, and I'm remoting in because I actually have to do a media ministry training with them tomorrow. So I have this here, and I left this on from choir rehearsal. But I'm remoted in right here, and I just have my account logged into, set up under my Google account. It links it to your Chrome Remote Desktop, and that's it. I do have a video. Somebody has asked me, how do I turn the computers on and off remotely and access and all this other stuff? When I get the parts for this other computer that I'm building for First Baptist Church in Oxford, that's going to be here tomorrow. I will do a video. I thought I did one, but I'm just going to make an updated version of how I set up everything so that I can turn the computer on remotely and log in and get access to it remotely. But I will be using Chrome Remote Desktop for that. Used to use a bunch of other programs I used to use Log Me In, and then they shut down, and then they got bought out by somebody else. And then I don't like using AnyDesk because a lot of scammers use that, and there's a fee. Again, Chrome Remote Desktop does not cost anything. I've been using it for quite a while without any issues. And I am trying to reboot this computer. There it goes. So that we can have everything set up for tomorrow. Hope that answered your question. Monty, what's going on? I see you on here. Streets of Destiny, hello. SJ Productions. Lace Dad, hello, hello. Jay Santiago, hello. And Michael Baldwin, hello, hello. Let's see. Anthony. One of the churches I service mentioned that they would like to have a separate stream for the sanctuary that doesn't include everything the stream has. Is that possible? Yes, I need to know what your layout of equipment is. So if I had to do this at a high level, and I technically do this at Antioch is set up this way. Signs and Wonders is set up this way. A bunch of them are set up this way. It's all in the flow of how you have your stuff. So I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible to hopefully give a high level of how this will work. So say you got your camera, and then you got your Computron, your computer back here. We have that over here. And I'm simplifying this, so I'm not hooking up the audio mixers and all this other stuff. It's just the concept, right? So you got your camera that's going here, and this is going out to the internet. Right? And this computer is, as you said, is OBS, right? So this is taking in your processing. This is adding graphics, and it's going here. How do you get another stream that's going to go inside your sanctuary? There's a couple of ways that you can do this. If you just had this type of setup, what you could do is put something in the middle. And I'm like I said, I'm being very, very simple with this. You could just put a splitter in the middle of here and just say between your cameras, and then that feed will go here, which will just give you the raw footage of the camera going here. Another way, like I've done in Antioch, this is the same thing I have set up. This is the ATEM. So the ATEM is sending its program out to the televisions and the projectors inside the sanctuary, but then the other feed is going into OBS that adds all the graphics that goes just for the people online. That's another way you can do it. If you don't like stuff like that, you could, depending on your computer, and with OBS, there is if you have a secondary monitor output on the computer, you can hook this up here, and you can set this to be a specific program out, depending on what's coming in that is divorced from any type of graphics that you do. This will take a little bit of horsepower on the computer, but if you do have that, that's how you can have that feed. That's kind of like how I have this on my computer right now. You can't see it, but I have a feed coming to this monitor in front of me, which doesn't have any graphics. It just lets me see what's going on here. That's done through vMix, but OBS does the same thing because that's where I originally used to do this before I went to vMix. It is programmed out. So if I open up the OBS, and this camera in front of me is going to go off because of how I have this set up. If I pull this over here, so you could come over here, and it's right-clicking here. You can do a full screen projector. You could project out this full screen here, and there is a way that you can do. Yeah, there it is. Full screen projector source. So that's just going to send this. So if I did this right now, and it's going to look real wonky right now because of how, actually, let me change this so I can get this to work. I'll use this camera. Because if I did it anyway, it's going to loop over stuff. So if I come in here and I right click on this and I want to do a full screen projection on the Samsung. All right. So now if I cut back out, as you can see, that is what's showing up full here. That will show, that would go out to your projector. So that's what's going to OBS. But as you can see, it's not duplicating this. It's going, and see, that's my AI is now grabbing this instead. Let me turn that off. That's the one issue that I got with the AI camera. When I do this, it's picking up me on the screen instead of the real me. Let me turn this off. All right, that's off. Let's go to camera 3. There we go. So as you can see, that's how all this other stuff is done, and you can do that in OBS. If you don't have enough outputs, you can always output and send it, add like a USB to HDMI adapter, or get a different graphics card so that you can do that. That's how that will work. Real straightforward for that. Hope that answers your question, and let me close out of the OBS. Lamar, what was the device you installed to connect to a TV over coax? That is the Thor HDMI modulator. And actually might look at getting another one of those. I installed that a long time ago at Antioch when I was running distribution everywhere, and it wasn't really needed or wanted. So because I donated it, I ended up donating it to another church. Because they, it was no point in sending that stuff everywhere if nobody else is going to use it. So that device is this. There is another one that is cheaper, but I've had a couple of people say that they've used it and they weren't happy with it. No, it used to be this one, but they're now the same price. This one, well, it's a couple of dollars. This one is actually cheaper. Now I take it back. So this is the one that I had, and I've installed this 3 times at 3 different churches, and they've been very happy. That's First Union, First Union, Antioch. Who else? New Hope down in Oxford, and there was another church I installed it. So all you do is run the HDMI in here. That would give it a signal. Pick the digital channel and hook it up to an RF out. That will be regular coax. And if you already have coax throughout your entire building, like Antioch did and New Hope did, you just put it in here, scan for this channel, make sure if it's hooked up to your antenna. Because what I did originally at Antioch, I had an antenna that's in the attic that gave TV channels over the air. So when you scanned, you got all the channels in the area as well as this channel. So you just scan on the TV. Once you hook the coax up, it'll find the channel, and now you turn to that channel, and then video and audio that is being sent from whatever, your ATEM, your camera feed, whatever, will come into here. You need to bond your video and audio first so that it goes here. But yeah, very straightforward. Have a video on that. And like I said, possibly looking at getting another one, because that way at the conference we can actually have people in the fellowship hall seeing what's going on. Really need to have a couple of these, because that's only going to show you what's in the sanctuary. I need to figure out how we can have it on different channels to show everything that's going on in the conference at the same time. But that's it. Mike, what's the best way to show a video using Presenter and our live stream with OBS at the same time? Mike, give me a little bit more detail with this. So, I mean, if it's Presenter, and if you are still using the ATEM, I would just have Presenter sent into the ATEM going into OBS, and you just play the video from Presenter, and it will go that way. But how is your setup? I want to make sure I answer that properly based off of how you're doing that. Let's see. Monty, thank you for the segue, because I was actually getting ready to do this. Good morning, everyone. What Black Friday deals have you found? I'm glad you said that, and I can resurrect this stuff here that I have not used in a while. So let's talk about some deals and some sales, folks. Alrighty, so the first thing, they announced this, and I actually jumped on this. This is the new DJI Mic Mini. This thing is super, super, super tiny compared to the other one that I have. This should be in next week. But this receiver, if you just get just the receiver and the mic, it's $89 and it's free shipping. That's dirt cheap compared to the other one that I had was around like 250 because I got the two units, the case and the receiver. Even if you did that, that's $170 if you got this one. That's one sale I got. The other sale that is going on right now, DaVinci Resolve has a lot of their stuff on sale. I got DaVinci Resolve with my cinema camera, and I have been using it since version 12. Once you get a DaVinci Resolve Studio license, it gives you a license to all its versions. I got it at 12, and I'm at 19, and have never had to pay an additional price for it. You can also get some of the panels, the micro panels, and stuff like that. I still got this one that I use to edit with, my speed editor. They got some new ones here. That's some of the sales that I saw. The sale is actually over, but AVCans had a whole bunch of sales on their PTZs on Amazon. Some of their, actually, it's still in place. So here, you can get this NDI PTZ camera for $327. So really good deal with a bunch of them. Their joystick is down by $100. The same one, the original one that I have that's actually behind me, the bigger one, the AV Joy Pro is the one I have right here at my desk right now. So yeah, a lot of good deals. Honestly, the deal right now is if you got the joystick and these two cameras separately, is actually cheaper than its bundle right now. So those are some great deals that I've taken advantage of, and hopefully y'all can jump on that. If y'all had any other great deals, actually, and who was the other one? Restream had a deal. It was like 50% off. Yeah, it's still going on. Get 50% off on their deal. And I thought they had a lifetime one. It's just for annual. So it's 50% off if you pay for it annually for the whole year. So $114. You can get it knocked off. Those are some of the deals that I saw. But let me know if y'all found anything else out there. And thank you for that, Monty. Let's see. Kenneth, good morning. Eric, good morning. And Eric was saying on the deal, I purchased the B-Link mini computer. How can I get audio in for recording? You need a special cable for that. You're saying, how can I get audio in for recording? Well, it all depends. I read that wrong. Well, I mean, what you could use is like an audio interface like this M Audio. This is like $25 on Amazon, connects over USB in. You plug in whatever into this, and then you can get your audio that way. And I think what you're talking about. Now, if you're trying to get audio out for those, that is a multi-jack in there. So that's speaker and microphone. So you need to make sure you get, and let me see if I can cut over to this camera. This would actually be better. You need to get one of these. As you can see, it has 3 bands on it for left and right stereo, and then that third one is for mic. You need to have one of these if you're connecting to one of those B-Link mini PCs, because that jack in the front is for mic, is for audio in and out. So if you only have 2, it doesn't read properly. That's what I found out. That's why I have one of these with the 3 prongs, so I can get my audio out from that computer if I'm like connecting that to a mixer. But if you're trying to get audio in, I mean, you could use something like this as well too and plug it in, and then you have to have the other band will read as a mic in. I personally wouldn't do it as a mic in. If you're in, well, it all depends on what you're coming from. But that's what I would use for that. RK was saying, what splitter do you recommend? It all depends. Most of the splitters I always use are Ori. I've gone through so many different splitters, And the Aura brand has been rock solid for me every time. And that's the reason why I always use them for everything. I got 3 of them up under my desk right now. And as you can see, we've purchased a lot of stuff from them. So this is a 1x4 4K splitter that's under this desk right now that allows me to do this as well as send another feed over to my my ATEM. So I split that signal. So this my signal from my computer goes to a splitter. It goes to this monitor, and then it goes to my ATEM, which gives me, if you can see it there in the upper right-hand corner, that gives me another feed right there of that desktop. And when I used to have all my monitors hooked up, I had different splitters doing that. But that's the one that does that because all these other ones are for me to see, and I only need to send y'all one monitor. But then what I traditionally use is a 1x8 splitter for my installs. And I think they may have this one on sale. Yeah, this one is heavily on sale. Well, this is just a 1080p one. There's a 4K one. But this is the same one that I would use to give me a 1x8. I have this at Antioch. I have this at a bunch of places where I'm sending a feed to different 1080p televisions. So that is what I've used. Really, really, really great, solid product that I use personally, and I've installed in quite a few places, and I've never had to have them replaced. I've always had to replace other brands, but not this one. I will put that in the description there for you, and it can toggle over to any other ones that you may be interested in getting. Back to Doyle Ministries. Follow up, Chrome Remote Desktop asks for a code requiring someone to grant access from the remote site. No, that is a support one. So like if I have somebody who has an issue and they don't, and it's a system that I've never used before, you can use that. So that is under remote support request. So like when I was having helping my sister out in Maryland, I didn't have, and this was her old computer before I built her one. I had her go here, send a code so I can do it in. When you set it up, it's going to be set up under your account, and then it will be listed here. So like if I go, what's a church I can use? Like Hood Temple, I'll use them. So like right now, see, this is their account. This is the church's main account. But if I sign out, see, I have my account. I made my account. I logged in with Google. I put everything in there, and then so now no one can log in without my password to get into this. So that Google account will stay active. So because you kind of be careful with that, because with that Google account on the computer, if it's the main account that everybody else is using, they can get into your stuff. They can see your emails. They can see all that stuff. So I made another account with my stuff on that will always run. So if they ever messed up this account, I can still log in because they can't log in to mess that account up. And that's the difference between those two. So the one that you were on, that is for tech support. You would have to come in here, go to remote access, and then it will say, like if I scroll all the way, well, I can't do it because I'm on all the computers I'm on actually have it set up. You would get another one that says, do you want to access this computer? Then it would download the program and install everything. That's the only difference. LV, my pastor is asking for a head-worn mic. What do you suggest? Well, I haven't used it in a while, mainly because my windscreen broke off here. But actually, in the last video I did with the Unify one, this is when I used. This is the Rode HD2, I believe it is. And this one is really, really light. You just got to depend on what adapter that you need to get on the end of that. Let me cut over here so you can see it a little bit better. So that's the 2-prong right here. So that plugs in. That plugs into my. That plugs into any of my Rode wireless, or if you have a hip pack, you can get the right end that will plug into that. So if there was a Shure or whatever type of transmitter or something like that, you can hook it up to that. Now that Rode, I want to play around with that Rode Mini. I've actually used these. Originally, this was the mic that I had set up for Pastor Taylor at Signs and Wonders. But then as more and more people started bringing more equipment and bringing in RF and all this other stuff and signals, it started giving distortions and stuff like that. So I put them onto something else. But this actually does work. And these are some of the ones that honestly, I'm probably going to have speakers hooked up to the presenters. Let me say it that way, for the conference, so that they'll have something that's worn and it can easily be handed to other people and don't have to worry about mics. It'll be magnet hooked onto them and stuff like that. But that Rode one is one that I like and works very well. And it's not as expensive as the Countryman. The Countryman is kind of like that. That's the one that a lot of people use, but that thing is heck of expensive. So let me see, the Countryman headset. Just let you see what they're talking about in price. The Countryman is going for about like $400 for that. So, and then Rode HD. I forgot the number. Oh, it's the HS2. So it's about half the price of that. I don't remember paying that much for mine. I think I paid $199 for mine. But if you had the whole set, it comes with this and the Rode Wireless, which I think is kind of a deal because the other one is just the headset and it doesn't have a connections to that. But that's the one that I've used. Let me see. Yeah, that's pink. Yeah, because this is the one that I got, and I guess it works fine. I wanted a wind guard on here, and I couldn't find some replacement wind guards, but I guess I should use that some more. So I got that about a year ago, and I don't remember paying that much for it. But that's the one that I use. It all depends on what you are, what's the pack that it's going to be hooked up to. So, so that's the Rode HS2 headset. I'll put that in the description. Again, I do like it. The only issue that I don't use it like in scenarios like this is because I can't hear myself. So when I'm doing videos and I'm just talking, that's great for me, and I'm hands free and stuff like that. I mix between that and my lavalier. If I'm moving a lot and I have a clip on, my clothes gets on that a lot. This one, the only issue I've had is like my beard will get in the way, but that's about it. Let's see. Francisco. Hey, good morning, sir. Heather Hills Baptist Church. Building a new presenter system with Black Friday deals. Is a Ryzen 9 better than a Ryzen 5? Oh, yes. A Ryzen 9 is way, way, way better than a Ryzen 5 8600. I have a Ryzen 9 in my system right now, and the comparison is the let me look it up. I think the 8600 has 6 cores and 12 threads, as in its processing prowess. So looking at it, general specs, so it has, 6 cores and 12 threads inside of it, compared to the Ryzen 9. The Ryzen 9 is a beast. All of my systems now, I upgraded to a Ryzen 9. So I think I have a 5900X. So if you look at that, again, that's 6 core, 12 threads. This is 16 cores and 32 threads. So it is a beast. You have way more CPU available and threads available for stuff. So like right now, if I happen to show mine that's on this system right now, this is why it ticks me off to no end that After Effects is tripping on me running it because I have more than enough horsepower. And this is my processor right now. So mine has 12 threads and 12 cores and 24 threads. So I'm not being bothered with anything. Again, me and Dominic were going back and forth. It's not Mac or Windows. It's just Adobe, and After Effects is horribly, horribly written. It has memory leaks. like crazy, and no one has gone back to fix it because they're the standards. It's like if you don't like it, just deal with it. There's nothing really as user friendly as that. Fusion can do it, but nowhere close. Oh, and Monty, I'm thinking back. I need to tell you something else that I forgot about. Another deal that I got that I am really want to call out to any people. Where is it? Where is my? I'm looking for my bookmarks is not opening up, so I can get to everything. But I also I am next year am aiming to get my Part 107 license, my drone license, and I need to open my email up because I can't. I set a bookmark, but then it didn't save it. But I ended up buying a UAV drone Part 107 course that normally was like $400 and some dollars. They had a Black Friday sale for 107, and it's lifetime access to it. I want to see if that link is still available. Yeah, Drone Pilot Ground School. That's what I ended up getting. I'm sorry. It's like every time I'm opening up a link, it keeps going somewhere else. Give me 1 second. There it goes. So I ended up, and there it is. It's still in place. It actually was going for $300. I had this class for 107. They said they have a 96% success rate. So once I have this, I'll be able to fly commercially. In other words, now flying my drone and stuff like that, I can do video and I can sell that video because technically you can't do that until you have this part of the license. And you can do other stuff with that's going to open up the doors from a company standpoint and other stuff like that. So that's another thing that I'm actually bought through my Black Friday sale. So, Mike, before we were using Easy Worship and played the video as a source in OBS and then went out over NDI into a feed into Easy Worship, but I don't think Presenter can accept NDI as a source. No, it can't. But if you're going to play it both, what's the reasoning of why you don't play the video inside a Presenter, which will also be fed into? Well, no. You could do it. You can do it the opposite way. Those little HDMI adapters, those things like this. What you could do is hook that up to Presenter, play the video inside of that, and now this is a second screen. Run the screen capture NDI software, and then you can send that over to OBS. So you can do it in reverse. But let me know what's the reasoning of why you don't want to play the video on Presenter and send it that way. I mean, I know there must be a reason. Just want to know because I think that may help. Hey, you are welcome. Coyote, and sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. How can we get the right sound quality on Zoom? Or, I mean, I need some more details of that. What do you mean by right sound? Also, I need to know your setup of what are you connecting to send your audio over to Zoom. Most likely, it's a Zoom setting where you need to turn off the audio echoing, noise cancellation, and stuff like that, because that's what's caused a few problems with Zoom, at least the ones I've seen. So if I cut over here and I go to my audio settings, you go here to audio, I make sure that the automatic, let me do this. I make sure that the automatic adjust microphone volume is not checked. I set mine as original sound for musicians, and I don't have echo cancellation on. If you have Zoom background, if you have that on, set it on low. Don't do it on auto because it will get rid of all your music. So you can do either live performance or original sound. and I use high fidelity music mode, so it does not get rid of the music. And I also set mine in stereo. That's what I have set up for there. But again, that is subjective because I don't know what you're using and if that's even the issue that you're talking about. So need a little bit more detail to be able to help you with that. Richard, good morning. And wait a minute, you're saying so we're using OBS and NDI, but how is it also pulling the audio from OBS and being sent to Zoom? I need to know the workflow of how you have everything connected, of how what's bringing in video and audio, how that's connected, and then how that's going to Zoom. So I need a little bit more detail to be able to help with that. Courtney, good morning. Michael, haven't seen you in a while. Glad to see you back on here. I have an M1 base model. Would you recommend an M4 base model? I wouldn't recommend the Apple at all. I mean, let me stop before I get messed with. Recommend an M4 base model. It's only $500 through Apple Education. I would say go for it. It should be significantly better than in performance compared to the M1. And the M1, I bought mine at $700. So if you can get it for $500, I've seen a couple of videos that you can do. I don't know if that's the base model, but I mean, I would think at that you should be good to go with that. Otis, howdy from Texas. Our distribution went out this week. Oh no, I'm thinking about getting the Oride HD Base T 8x8 matrix. That's what originally I had at Antioch until we couldn't get high enough in the ceiling to run HD Base T to the projectors, and I ended up just doing fiber optic HDMI. But I have used a HD Base T at a couple other churches. Really, really good stuff. MA16V3, the Ryzen 9 is only preferable if you have a way to use all those cores and threads. If the system is not going to do any post-production, then the 8600G is fine. I would agree. If that was an option, if you had a choice, I personally like the 9 because that system may not be using video editing or something that uses those cores and threads right now. But then if you ever decide to, you already got it built in. So, but I do agree if you're not going to use it. Mike, I found a lot of fusion graphs can be very taxing and almost unusable as well. Yeah, I'm playing around a lot with DaVinci Resolve and the settings on how you have to do smart caching and all this other stuff. And I've gotten it very workable on lower end systems. But yeah. It's like I can't get over the power button. Yeah, I see Apple just be doing some dumb stuff. Like also like putting the charging cable on that other mouse on the bottom of the mouse. So you got to flip it upside down. Philip Paul, hello. Joshua, good morning to you. And we are on the last page so far. So folks, now I'm going to give y'all kind of like a high level of some stuff. And like last week on our roundtable, it kind of got dominated by a lot of stuff with the conference. But again, I'm really excited about the stuff that we have to offer and the vision of having this. Like I said, we're going to need a lot of volunteers. What I'd really like to do is, so if somebody's presenting, I would really love for them to have their own staff that's going to run volunteers that are going to run their live stream and their slides if they want. We are going to have some stuff set up so we can have, if you bring your own computer with your own slides, you can actually control it. I mean, we got laser toggles and all this other stuff that you can move over to your next slide. If you have presentations, this is stuff I'm going to be using. We have the Ori wireless HDMI that I'll be hooked up in the sanctuary and hooked up down to the floor so you can plug in and go on the projectors. Really looking to reach out to a couple of other people and maybe rent a digital wall. I don't know. I'm going for gusto on what we can do and then making a list of things that in the future would really, really, really like to do. And David, if I didn't say it, good morning to you as well too. So really excited about how the flow of everything is going to be. The conference is actually going to start on Friday the 18th, July 18th. It's going to start, and I'm working on the schedule. It's going to be like registration from, and check-in and stuff like that from 8 to 8:30. And we'll have breakfast and kind of a meet and greet and stuff like that. Working on the distribution on how the video is going to be going throughout the entire area. If you saw my other videos where we're adding more stuff in place so that the chapel will have everything that's needed to live stream, I think I'm going to have the Go Stream go over there so that can live stream, and we're going to work on the distribution. We have some TVs there, but I think Pastor Paul is thinking about getting a bigger TV in there. We do have access to some projectors if we need to for presentations inside of there. We already got wireless mics. Just really prepping. I do need to go back behind and add a whole bunch of networking jacks to some other classrooms and stuff like that. But just really excited about that stuff. In Lamar, is there any length limitation on the Thor box? I mean, it's once it sends that signal, it's whatever the length of coax that's allowed inside. So I mean, I think. Let me look it up, because I know SDI you can go. Well, coax cable can be cabled over long distances. It said it can go up to 1,640 feet. So yeah, 1,640.4 feet is what it says that coax cable can send a signal, or 500 meters. So you should be good. If you're going any further than that, you need to go to fiber optic, which will be 29 miles in range. So I think you should be good to go. So that Thor is not going to give you any limits at all. Resilient. I have a basic setup using my iPad and Restream. I'm streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube. What can I do to edit my videos? I'm new to this. Well, it all depends. Where are you getting your recording from? Where is it recording? Are you pulling the recording from Restream? It depends on the iPad. I mean, DaVinci Resolve is free on the iPad. My iPad is too old to use it, but I've heard it's pretty good. I'm not at any time soon trying to buy a new iPad just to do that. There's a bunch of other things. CapCut, it's a bunch of other apps that you can use. I mean, iMovie on the iPad, you'll be able to edit it but I mean, just need a little bit more detail. What can I do to edit my videos? If you're downloading it from the recording that Restream is offering, or pulling it down from Facebook or YouTube, any of those programs, because all the ones I mentioned are free. That's what I would use in that. Mike. Actually, I think we're already capturing the ProPresenter projector screen for our live stream using NDI capture, but I wasn't sure if sound would come with it. Yeah, it will. You just have to toggle that on so that it is also sending audio, and then, yes, you'll be good to go. Reverend Leroy, good morning. Joshua, hey, man, I started using the A10 Mini Pro, but the audio and video isn't in sync, but the thing is, the audio is there before the video, so the delay audio makes it worse. Well, is it delayed in the ATEM, or is it delayed because you have the ATEM connected to something else? Normally, the audio in the video, if it's going into the ATEM is handling that and keeping that in sync. Depending on how you have everything connected, it should be in sync. Now, what I've seen when it's gotten out of sync is people are bringing everything into the ATEM and then sending it over to a computer that's underpowered, and it's struggling to take both of the feeds that's coming from the ATEM and keep it in sync. Are you going directly from the ATEM to your live stream, or is it going to something else like OBS or another software on a computer or a Mac? Let me know that. Back to Lamar. I installed the ordinary 1x8 4K splitter in a church, and on the fourth TV, which is about 70 feet from the box, the HDMI fiber is flickering on and off at times. The others on the box are not. I would look at that cable then, because if you have, and is that an Ori one or whatever splitter you got, when you start having more than two devices hooked up to any splitter, make sure it's powered. Because yes, HDMI does send power. Like if you plugged up HDMI to your computer, it's sending a small amount of power over that cable. But once it has to split, I've noticed it starts flickering because it's not enough power to send a signal everywhere. That's why I always have a powered splitter. That's my experience. But let me know your setup. If you change out the cable, do you get the same thing? If you unplug one cable from a TV that's working, does the flickering go away on that other one? If it does, that shows that that's a power issue. Because if you disconnect one and then the other one that was flickering is working, then it's getting enough power to do what it needs to do. If it's not, I would try and switch out another cable just to see if you get the same thing. And if your splitter is not powered, I would get a powered one. Love the name. Anamanania. Manania. Love the name. Good morning. I'm reworking our live stream setup as the system gets overloaded. We run everything on a Mac Mini. Where's Dominic at? Where's Elder Rob at? But from this, I gather Windows is better and easier to expand. Yes, I would say it is easier to expand just because I understand Apple is shrinking their stuff, but then you can't go and buy other parts easily to add and replace if you need to expand its capabilities. So, I mean, like I have other systems, and then I'm going to be doing another video when this parts come in tomorrow of building that. Well, this isn't really a streaming system, but it's the same parts as a streaming system. Or I would look at any of those other videos. You can get away with one of those systems. You can get it from me. It's $900 up to $1,000, or you can just get the parts and follow along with the video and build it yourself. And then you can get away with it significantly less, and it'll give you the knowledge of putting everything together. Yeah, because if you like, let's just do this thing. Let me just show you what I'm not gonna. I was gonna say I wasn't gonna do the 8600G only because at least the last ones that I've gotten from Amazon, the processor and the motherboards that they gave me would not upgrade to use it, which kind of ticked me off. But I'll just go with this. I'll get the 8600G Ryzen. Let me increase this. I personally would get this in a bundle so that Micro Center, that's who's getting this, they quote unquote assume that they guarantee that this stuff will work together. So that's why it's paired. So most likely the BIOS is updated and all this other stuff. Kind of don't need a big, I'll do a micro here. And actually, the bigger one is actually cheaper. I'll go with this one. So say we go with this. We got our processor. We got that. We need to add some memory. I'll do 32 gigs of DDR5 because it's still relatively cheap. I get this Corsair for 80 blickups. I get a 1 terabyte NVMe Gen 4. I'll go with the silicone power because that's what I normally always use. We need a 600 watt PSU. And I'd go with, I go with this bronze certified one. This is one I've used a bunch of times. It's been rock solid for me. I would do an ATX case. You don't need to be. Why does it feel like? It feels like I got to burp and sneeze at the same time. I don't know what in the world, so I'm trying to stay away from here. Sorry if that was nasty for y'all. I don't know. I'm just gonna grab this one because it was like in the $50 range. So if I go from here, and I need to remove a lot of other stuff here. So we got our case, we got our power supply, hard drive, memory, processor, and motherboard. All of this other stuff is actually for another, waiting for somebody to pay me to do all that. You can get this system outside of putting it together, and you can get Windows license, a legal Windows license for like $25. So you'll have a system that's more than powerful enough to handle everything outside of your keyboard and mouse. $12 if you need to add that there as well too. You can get all of this for $600, and that would be a beast of a system. And you can actually use some coupons here and get it even lower. So that's kind of like what consists of the systems that I would build for this. And you would give you more than enough power. I mean, even Antioch, we're still running off of the Ryzen 5 1600 that for back in the day it was going for like $75, those processors. That thing is still running strong, and the CPU usage on the live stream is like at 2%. So um, I'm not an Apple hater. It's just I'm thinking long term. Just like with a laptop. Yes, I have a laptop because I travel a lot, but I've already had to upgrade my laptop twice just because it's reached the limits of what I can do. I've added new hard drives. I've added new memory. That's all I can really do with it. I ain't bold enough to go back into my micro soldering days and try and put a new CPU, and I'm not doing that. So again, I'm not hating on Apple. I think of when you're making a purchase for your ministry, yes, it's one thing for it to be if everybody's comfortable with Mac, yeah, but long term, at least with the trustees I've dealt with, saying, hey, a $1,000 system that's going to last reasonably 5 to 7 years makes it go over a lot easier than at least the churches I've dealt with of having to change the computers maybe every 3 years. Not saying that the Apple would need to do that, but if you reach a limit, you can't really change much of it. That's at least my experience. Otis wants to know Thor or Ori for distribution. Ori is going to give you closer to in sync with matching where its original distribution is coming from. The Thor is good, but it is not in sync. This is meant for, like, when I installed it, it's always for televisions that are nowhere close to the sanctuary or get audio directly from the sound system, because it's going to take processing time to encode it so that it can be sent over coax. So like at Antioch, it was on the other side of the building. There were no speakers to give any audio for that. In the downstairs and different areas, it works perfectly fine for that. I would not use this distribution if it's going to be the distribution that's going to go inside the church, because it's going to be at least 3 to 5 seconds delay for that. So the Ori, especially HD Base T, is going to be literally almost like half a frame to like 1 frame behind. Philip Paul, hey AJ, is there any way to save the bus mix separate without saving the main mix fader? Is there any way to save the bus mix separate without saving the main mix faders? Yeah, it should be saved defaultly. Like if I logged into the fader settings for any of the mixes on the X32, they stay the same. When you turn the system off and turn it back on, it's saved by default. I don't know. I've never seen it not save settings like that. Once you set it, it's normally the exact same. Like if I logged into Antioch right now and I set them up, or anybody that I have set up and I turn their board on, some churches like who I set their live stream and they've never touched it, is exactly the exact same way. So that the same type of work, it should work. Thanks, my dad calls me this. If we get a Windows streaming computer built, will the Mac Mini running ProPresenter be able to connect to the streaming by ATEM or splitter? Yes, it could be done either way. You would connect, like in my setup, I have my Mac connected to my ATEM, and that's input number 3, which right now is this camera right now. Normally, I have my Mac connected to it, but it's connected to my ATEM to input number 3, and we do it the same way, and ATEM can stream. But if you're running ProPresenter, you can out it over NDI. So it's a bunch of ways. So yes, it could work either way. Back to Joshua. Do I have anything? We aren't using any software encoders, but the thing is, we've run the audio from our Soundcraft UI16 to an audio interface, so we can monitor the audio sent from our aux, but it's still audio before video. That does not make sense. I've never seen that. So even if you do the audio delay in the ATEM, I've used the Soundcraft, but you're using the Soundcraft with an audio interface. It sounds like the audio interface is adding the delay. Hold on 1 second. Soundcraft UI16. Because if you're doing your own separate mix, yeah, and I have used one of these. This First Street, South Lynchburg First Baptist Church of South Lynchburg uses the same system, and then it was a Kojic church I did this up the street. They used the same one. That's a mix. I thought you could code one of these to be the mix, because I really think it's your interface that is adding a delay to it. Because this is what I would do. I know you're not going to be able to hear it. Connect it directly, bypassing your audio interface as a test, and see if it's out of sync, just to confirm if the audio interface is causing an issue. Because what I would do, if I confirm that that's the issue, I would do a splitter and split the audio and let it go directly from the board into a splitter. That splitter goes into the ATEM directly. Then the other split goes into the interface so you can get headphones. So that way you can still hear what's going on, but it's not delayed. That's only if the interface is confirmed to be slowing down the mix. That's what I would do to test that out. See, I'm trying. Y'all funny. So again, I'm not knocking it. Like I said, I'm not trying to be. I know me and a couple of people go back and forth joking on the Apple stuff. I'm not hating on it. I'm just sitting back thinking long term. At least from the churches I had to deal with, it was like pulling teeth and walking through the gates of hell to try and get people to give me money for a computer. So if I can get something that I could slowly upgrade, that gets me under a certain, but like some churches, they have, if it's under like a certain amount of money, they don't have to go to the board to ask for this amount and stuff like that. I try and get something that stays under that range so I can easily ask for it. They can cut me a check compared to, hey, I need $1,000. I need this and this and this. That's just me. But that's where I go with. Mr. Albert, happy Thanksgiving as well. All right, some people are saying that, so we're good. Amazing. Never built before, but I can follow a video. Typically, I'm an Apple bias, but it has been limiting in this aspect and expensive. I agree. I've had a lot of people who were, I have a Mac as well too, but I think for some stuff, especially if you're just going to be running your streaming stuff, that software is the same when it comes to Mac and this. And it's like you can just get more horsepower than what the Mac is going to offer, and it just allows growth long term. If you're just doing that just for streaming, I always recommend just get a Windows PC and run OBS on it, and then you'll have more than enough horsepower to do what you need to do. And if you ever need to, you can go to Amazon, Newegg, whatever, and get the parts if you need to upgrade it over time. All right, so a bunch of people, like I said, this is the beauty of the community. Saying that they have a Soundcraft and the TV Studio HD, and they have to delay their sound as well too. So thanks for that. Again, I have the television studio, I just don't have the Soundcraft. Actually, I have a television studio right here, and there's one at Antioch and at Abundant Life. We installed the Constellation HD because a thunderstorm messed up the other one. Yeah, and thank y'all for all that. Joshua, thanks so much, man, because every week is like another problem. Really appreciate it, and we'll let you know how it goes. Awesome. Let's see. And like I said, Otis is here. Otis is one of people that registered early for the conference, folks. Again, yeah, I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse because this whole conference is meant for y'all. I don't want to accentuate that, yes, we're doing it online, but the same experience is going to be available for if you're online as well. So really excited about meeting a bunch of y'all in person. As much as I talking back and forth with Monty and stuff like this will probably be the first time I actually meet him in person, meeting each other in person. So I think that's going to be cool. And then Otis is going to be the first time I meet him in person. And then we just got a bunch, Elder Rob, but I think we're actually going to catch up in North Carolina for an install pretty soon, in about 2 weeks down there at First Baptist Church in Oxford. But just really excited about trying to put something together that isn't just focused on media from the technical. It's meant to be a whole holistic approach of, hey, you're a minister and you're going to be partner with other people. You're going to be in a room with, like, you might have a stigma of thinking media only does this, but then now you're with other ministers that are using this stuff and they're an excuse remover. That's the whole beauty of it. So working together, but then it's not just the technical. You like we're looking at partnering up with some seminary schools as well and having them send their students over, and we're going to be teaching how to actually minister and preach to a congregation of nothing or a camera, how to actually engage with people when you don't have a congregation giving you the amens and the going back and forth, how to actually do other content from other ministers and other laity that are in ministry that are showing how you can make other content outside of church services. Like the last couple of days, there's a channel that I've been watching. I just happened to stumble across it, and I'm like, it just gives a great example of how you can use media ministry for other stuff. And I need to go through my history and find it, but it was like a 30-minute documentary talking about different aspects of the Tower of Babel, and stuff like that. That I'm just like, you're learning biblical stuff, but it's in a completely different vein, like opening people's minds of being like, hey, it doesn't always have to be a Bible study. It doesn't always have to be a sermon, but you can educate and empower a whole lot of people from different aspects outside of just a traditional service or even Bible study or anything like that, which I think is really, really cool. I'm trying to find the channel where I went in and found it. It was something like the Genesis something. I'll find it later. Plus, I'm also stalling. All right, so I think we're going back and forth. We don't have like I said, tomorrow I have to go back and do a training with the media ministry at Antioch. I am thinking about live streaming it, or I might just record it so y'all can see kind of like what I do in a class. Yeah, there it is. The channel is called Answers in Genesis. That's what the channel was called. So really cool. 790,000 subscribers, and it was just like subscribe to now to learn about how to defend the Christian faith. Answers in Genesis. I mean, it's really cool, some of the stuff that they had. Just deep dive documentaries about certain stuff and questions and things like that. And like I said, it answers your questions, and you can look at it in a sermon, but it's in more of an educational format. And just the cameras and the sound in a church, live streaming, Bible study, and Sunday service. It can be so much more than that. But I think that is about it, unless y'all have any other questions. Not really seeing anything come back in here. But like I said, I know I'm beating a dead horse, but we can't do this without y'all, and this is for y'all. So y'all can go over to 4meconference.com, get registered. You'll jump down here, take advantage of the earlier bird pricing. We try and make it as low as possible, but it's going to be worth your while. And I would love to make it free, but we got to pay for food, and we got to pay for all the amenities, and we got to make the place play for some people to clean up behind our mess and all the other stuff like that. And like I said, we got some sponsors that are coming on board, so really excited about that. All that information is there. If you're interested in becoming a teacher, you can click on in person or online. We're going to have some meetings coming up, and we're trying to have everything prepped a whole lot earlier with a bunch of demos so we can get everybody to try and work through any possible issues that are inevitable and stuff like that. So really excited about those things. Now, while I did this, I want to give a big shout out to, we got a bunch of new Patreon supporters and some YouTube members. So I want to shout them out right now. So if you like what we do here, folks, like I said, my company sponsors this, and funds this channel, as well as great people like this on Patreon and YouTube. And if you like what we do, folks, and you want to consider helping us, you can go to patreon.com/AJaytheCEO. Get started for as low as $1 a month, or you can click the join button down below, become a YouTube member. No matter which way you pick, folks, you are helping us change, train, and empower media ministries all over the world. And I made this a little longer so it makes it easier. So hopefully y'all can see your name if you're sponsoring me and stuff like that. So again, thank you so much for my Patreon supporters. Some of them have supported me for up to 25 months. So I am very humbled by that. So very thankful for that. Let me knock out these last couple of questions. Fayaz, I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm building my YouTube studio. What is best tool? I'm best tool as in for the design. I need a little bit more detail of what you're talking about. Mr. Albert, are you in favor of creating sermonettes that can be extracted from a weekly sermon, can use in a video and or audio format? And what would you use to create a summary and topic? A summary and topic, ChatGPT, after it does an analysis of the script of what you're going to do. And yes, make a sermonette from the long live stream, but then also use that to chop that up into shorts and reels. Yes. I think that is about it, folks. So I know we're short today. We're going to be a lot longer next week, traditionally, because I know people are probably still, if you are doing the Thanksgiving thing, you're probably trying to sleep off the food coma. If you did that, we didn't eat a lot. Went down to my mom's and just got down there, ate, and then came right back because my daughter had to go back to her mom's. But that's about it. But folks, know that you are valued. You're rare people. You're not common. I think one of the issues that we have a lot is a lot of us are treated like common when you're actually rare. And that's why I want to shout y'all out, because it takes a rare person to be able to get on here, not just my channel, any channel, and learn more about media ministry. You're called for what you're doing. So I appreciate what you're doing. And if no one's ever told you, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing. I'm not your pastor. I'm not with your church. I'm not any your building, but we are a part of the same church, the body of Christ. So I want to thank you for what you're doing, because you make what I do easier. You make what I do easier. You know how hard it would be for me to keep teaching this, and there's other people that don't think any of this is important? Y'all do what I try and teach other people to do. It's very easy for me to teach this stuff, and I can point to y'all. Look at this ministry. Look at this ministry, what they're doing. Look at how they're impacting this compared to a bunch of people that still don't think this is important. So thank you for what you're doing. I couldn't do what I'm doing without y'all. Your ministry couldn't do what they're doing without you. If you weren't there, something would be missing. So thank you for what you're doing. I appreciate all of y'all. Continue doing what you're doing. There are people that are thankful for what you're doing, even though you've never met them. I've learned that myself. I've gone through, done a lot of stuff, and I'm sitting back thinking, what's the point of me doing some of this stuff? Because the people around me don't seem to recognize anything I'm doing. And that sometimes gets disheartening. When you're doing all this stuff for your ministry, you're not doing it for pats on the back, but we're human. You want somebody to tell you thank you for what you're doing, appreciate what you're doing. That's human nature. And it's not wrong to even look for some of that stuff. But you'll be surprised. And there are times when the people close to me didn't say nothing, and I had people I've never met say thank you for what you're doing. That means a lot. So that's what I hope to encourage y'all. Keep going what you're doing, because I understand sometimes, I ain't trying to fool none of y'all. It's so many times that I want to be like, I want to give up on this whole thing, because it does get hard. But it's great people like y'all to reach out to me, give me phone calls. I think like Reverend Leroy called me yesterday, person I've never met, called me and, telling me happy Thanksgiving and stuff like that. That means a lot. It knows that it means that I've done something to help somebody else. And that's why I want to tell y'all, you are helping people. Even if no one at your church is saying anything to you. Thank you for what you're doing. I hope y'all have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever y'all are, folks. and we'll be seeing y'all on the next one, folks. Later.